Guys, welcome to Live with Kyle and Alex. Tonight's show is a very special show. It's also Juneteenth. Thank you.
Naturally, you would know about Juneteenth, you know, and everybody should know about Juneteenth, but I can understand, Kyle. I would definitely know, and you wouldn't. And for those people who may not know that should know, Juneteenth is the celebration of the supposed end of slavery, which was June 19th, 1865. And here we are 155 years later, still talking about we need to be free. What's wrong with this picture, folks? But Juneteenth, I'm loving it. God bless. All right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Alex, how's it going over there? How's your days been? How's life been?
Great. Oh, Kyle, did you hear that there's over 40,000 passengers and crew members on cruise ships, and they're stranded at sea because of COVID? They're not being allowed back into their countries.
I actually did not.
Yes, that is totally amazing. And, COVID is changing a lot of things today. It's amazing. I don't think.
And then Governor Doug Ducey also mentioned that our mayor of Tucson actually is putting out our wearing required masks now. Like, we are required to wear masks. If you get caught, it's a $50 fine and 5 hours of community service. Wear those masks, people. Wear them.
If you caught without a mask, did not know that. I know it was mandatory. I didn't know the $50 fine.
$50 fine and 5 hours of community service.
Yeah. I mean, that should have been mandatory before. I mean, even the opening of the country, I just didn't understand that. And the spikes in the country with the virus, I think, is because of the opening too soon, people. Okay, but that's life. That's the world we're living in. All right, Kyle, who do we have tonight?
You know him all the way from Tucson, Arizona. He is the owner of the Ravenhurst Family Classic car right there at Trail Dust Town. Mr. Bill Delfs. What's going on, Bill?
Hey, Bill.
Hey, what's up? Hey.
Oh, yes. Wonderful and wonderful.
Hey. How's it going, guys?
Great, man. Great over here, man. How in the world are you? Bill, my goodness, what are those heads back there? I see a little, whoa.
One of my collections, this is actually in my bedroom, so it helps me have nightmares every night. So a couple of haunted items in there.
Oh my gosh.
Dolls, of course.
That's quite a bedroom you have there. Oh boy.
Yeah, guaranteed nightmares.
Hey, I may have nightmares after looking at those. You're such you don't look like a nightmare kind of a guy, but those heads back there are like,
yeah, a little creepy.
Yeah.
Well, if you can go to sleep with us in your room, nothing can scare you, right?
You better believe it. That's true.
That's
right. Absolutely. Yes.
I've learned the scariest thing I've ever done is being a parent.
Wow. Now that's true. Yeah. And there's no manual for it.
No, there's not. There's not. Nope.
Yeah.
Daily mistakes, man. Daily mistakes.
Yes. It's not hourly.
That's true. That's true. How you guys been doing?
Great. I'm doing downright fabulous, you know. A little hot here in Tucson, but
kind of lonely without you around now.
Yeah, I know. Bill kind of
not getting scared and all that jazz.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of getting scared, I gotta tell you, Bill, when I went through your haunted house, you will remember. I'm sure you remember. I remember. I had to get talked into going through Bill's haunted house, Ravenhurst haunted. I had to be talked into it. I said, okay. And Bill he gives you a safe word. If you get scared, just say the word and it'll let you out. And it's only like about 15 minutes or so. I'm gonna make it. I'm scared, but I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
I think 3.5 minutes into it, I'm screaming the safe word.
Yeah.
He scared me half to death. They know what they're doing. They really do. I mean, I had to go through it a second time. The second time I made it, but the first time was just too terrifying for me. And you have different tours too for, red, green. Yeah. Right. What are your different tours? What are those for?
We wanted to make sure everybody was taken care of. So our red tours are designed for people who basically dare us to scare them. And usually it's your younger guys who, I play all these video games. I've been everywhere. Nothing scares me. We take that as a challenge. So those tours take anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes, but 8 out of 10 people don't make it past 5.
Thank you.
Then we did our yellow tours, which are basically no scares. We kind of walk you through and tell you what we're going to do, because not everybody wants to be scared, but they're still interested in seeing how a haunted house works. And that's one of my favorite tours because it's designed for children and adults with physical needs, ADHD, and Asperger's and autism. So it empowers them. Right. So they don't feel left out. So we kind of show them behind the scenes, but never show them anything, but just kind of talk them through it. And then we did our green tours, which is designed for little tiny kids, because a lot of haunted houses you go to, you stick the kids and waiting while their mom and dads go through and they get left out. Right. Our haunted house includes everybody, which is really nice. Yeah. So, yeah.
How'd you get into haunting?
I'm sorry?
How'd you get into haunting?
Oh, man. I'm not going to date myself, but I remember I was supposed to be asleep in my bed and I crawled out into the hallway because my parents were watching TV and Frankenstein was on. And I was born in 1960, so I'm old. And I remember I wasn't scared. I was just infatuated with the makeup. And this is before spirit stores and Halloween stores. This is like back in the day. And I was just drawn into the character Frankenstein. He wasn't scary to me at all. And I just started getting into I guess things that would mostly scare people. I was always interested in it. And started doing makeup. We were financially challenged growing up. So my mom had a little makeup kit she had from high school. So every year for Halloween, she'd do makeup on us. So I started getting into doing makeup as a kid. And I just go to I started doing haunted houses for our church and stuff. It's just a lot of fun. So I've always been intrigued by it. It's a nice escape, for everybody. And it's always been a lot of fun.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So you have haunted artifacts, actual real haunted artifacts, don't you?
Yeah, 27 so far. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to respect everything you have. And it's like, I have my limits because of my religion, I won't have anything cursed or possessed, but I do have things that have a playful nature. And it's like a child will do something to get a reaction from you. Same thing as a haunted artifact. So when you've learned to live with these things and things move and you just don't even acknowledge it, you don't freak out, you just accept it, then they kind of all just gel together. But unfortunately, not everybody in my family is doing so well. And when things move, they freak out a little bit.
I think quite a few people will freak out. It freaks me out. I don't, moving by itself when it's not supposed to move is not my favorite thing.
We had something interesting happen last week. We had a guy come into our house to install smoke detectors because they all talk to each other. So it goes to our alarm system. And so I was explaining to him that we have a basement and attic with haunted artifacts and, these can see certain things. So this guy's go, oh yeah, it doesn't bother me. So I take him down to the basement or I have 9 caskets. He's a little freaked out. Okay. So then we go up in the attic and he sees the haunted artifacts and he's okay with it. But then we go into the one parlor and I talk to him about haunted artifacts. And so I helped him move a couch. He's on his ladder and I moved the table and all of a sudden Marguerite, our haunted wheelchairs, comes roaming across the room all by herself and taps through his ladder, and the look at his face, his eyes got big. He goes, okay, I'm done now. He's like, did that just happen? I go, yep. And he's like, yeah, I'm ready to go now. It was funny.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun, man.
Yeah.
How do you get your haunted artifacts?
You know, it's really interesting. I've always had I would get calls. I used to go to a lot of things like people sell things sometimes on eBay. You know, it's baloney. And sometimes people will sell something that actually is haunted. That's how I got my ventriloquist dummy. But a lot of the artifacts I go to like thrift stores or I go to antique stores because people tell me there's some strange stuff going on. There's this really weird item and they don't understand it. And then I kind of pick up on it and then I'll have it checked out. And most of the time these things are actually haunted. I've actually gotten people who've contacted me all the way from Missouri telling me about items that I've had them mail them to me. So that's pretty much how I got my collection. A lot of people don't understand that when there's a family heirloom that's a haunted artifact that is treasured by some people, but as those people pass, the other family members don't know how to deal with it, or it's locked up in the attic, and then it just kind of just want to get rid of it. But you have to be responsible because there's certain things you don't want to just get out there, and that's how I've got a lot of my stuff. As people have passed away, the people who like, Grandma said to keep this thing locked up in this box, and we don't want it in the house anymore, and that's pretty much how I got things. Yeah. I'm weird. I guess a draw. So,
yeah, we all
even
weird.
Even with the haunt, we've had people who got our haunted house say, "Oh my God, I've got this doll," and they brought us things. And sometimes they're real, and sometimes they're not. But it's nice to think about us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, you know about that, Kyle. You were there.
Yeah. Kyle worked with you for a while at Trail Dust, right?
Yeah. And Kyle seen some things happen too. He's like, okay. So
how long were you at Trail Dust? I know you were there before I moved to Tucson.
Honestly, Ravenhurst has been connected with Trail Dust Town a longer time than even when the haunt was there. We used to have about once every month, we'd bring our Hearst Club and be out there with the family, just having a good time and supporting Trail Dust Town. And we opened up the haunted house. I do believe it was, I know we were there for 4.5 years. And when they approached me about it, I said, I would be interested in doing it, but it has to be year round. And they're like, you're crazy. But we wanted to prove a point. And, you have to understand with haunted houses, usually around September, you see billboards, you see posters, and the Halloween stores go up. But how do you advertise a haunted house year round? And sometimes we see a billboard and think, oh, it's left up from Halloween. So I'm very proud of what we basically established something from word of mouth. And so we were there for 4.5 years, and we have so much to be proud of. The work we did, the fun we had, and in the whole time we were there, we had no incident of anybody ever getting hurt. Oh, okay. So yeah. But it's so it's something that I'm proud of. All the crew we had was amazing, and we made a lot of good friends, and it's just a part of what Ravenhurst is. It's we still have more things to come.
In case for people that may not know, Trail Dust Town is it's a little amusement park here in Tucson. They have stunt shows and the haunted house, magic shop, and everything. Nice steaks at the steakhouse and everything. Real nice place. If you're ever in Tucson, Arizona, stop by Trail Dust Town on Tankerverde and Grant, and I think you'll be entertained.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And we miss you over there at Trail Dust, man.
I missed it too. Yeah. But we got more things coming, man. More things coming.
All right, God.
What are you doing now?
We were basically we closed the haunt down at the end of the year with these ideas to do something different, and then the Corvid thing, it can happen, so it kind of delayed a certain thing. Sure. We're not willing to give the location of we're at right now, but we wanted to go, instead of renting a space and creating something, we actually bought a historic home that was built in 1884. So it's a real Victorian home. It's gorgeous. So we're hoping to basically have a haunt museum in a 1,000 square foot attic, and we're going to do dinner and death, murder mystery parties in the house as a formal dining room, and we're going to actually do like events here. But we're also looking to open up a haunted house in downtown area of where we're at, and it's going to be operating during like festivals and full moons and stuff. Because it's a smaller area, it won't be a year-round thing, but we'll be open for events. So there's a lot of things we're trying to do, and we did find some certain locations, but because of COVID, we're doing following all the rules. We're just staying home, and I'm working on in the actual house. Which the funny thing is, I actually live in the house. Reeves lives in the house. We all live in the actual house, and the house is actually haunted. We have a ghost, a little girl here, so it's really cool.
Okay.
So people will actually, and then one day, hopefully, maybe 5 years down the road, we're hoping to open up a dead end breakfast where people can stay here, and they can try to sleep. Our tagline is the Ravenhurst Classic Dead and Breakfast, the worst night's sleep you'll ever love, but it's going to be classic scares, not like, blood and guts. It's going to be like, good old fashioned, Frankenstein, werewolfy kind of stuff. It's going to be really terrifying. The house has secret passages. So
I love that name, the Dead and Breakfast, folks.
Dead and Breakfast. That's right.
And you know what is amazing? You're going to do both of them.
Yeah.
You're going to die, and you're going to have breakfast.
Breakfast.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really do love that name.
Well, the interesting thing is the house that we purchased, again, we're not going to tell you where the location is. It's something we worked on for 11 months to acquire the house. And the interesting thing is the people who lived here prior to us are funeral directors. So they actually store coffins in the basement of the house, which is kind of funny because I was moving them in. No one was like, yeah, it's more coffins, big deal, so it's kind of fun. So the history of the house plus the ghost and the whole idea that and they still have a funeral home here, which is kind of fun. But when you buy a house from these people who put all this love in this house, you're under a microscope the whole time. They want to make sure you're keeping things, straight up on the house. So, yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of fun. But we're going to give location later when we get more things going on. Yeah, we've been throwing out a couple teasers. We'll show a couple of pictures and stuff, and we haven't shown the attic yet. So, yeah.
Okay.
What does the new haunt going to entail? Anything new or anything?
It's what I want to do is, I still believe, and this because we work together, you've seen the makeup we can do, and you've been a part of that. And a lot of haunted houses rely on bloody effects and shock value and all that, and all these elaborate things. But I still believe a pure form haunt comes from the heart and the imagination. So it's going to be reality, like we back to Stranger Than Fiction, just like we did. It's going to be a guided tour in the dark, instead of being like, we were trail this time, we had a beautiful thing set up there, but the place I'm looking at is actually a haunted building, and it's basically been sealed for like 30 years. So it's still there. So we're going to go into this space, and it's just incredible. And just kind of place artifacts and things like that. Because people, and you would know this, Kyle, when people used to go to their haunted house, they didn't realize that they're actually in a haunted house that actually had real haunted artifacts. And you've even seen it when we were doing tours. Some of the items would be responding to people, but they thought it was something we were doing. And we knew we weren't doing it, So it's going to be the same kind of like what we did, but a little bit more of the fact that you take what we did and then you put it in a actual structure that has ghost, or it has the history that this place has. That's, I think, is the icing on the cake, Yeah. Totally fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So is that the project you're doing? I understand you have other projects. Well, you have quite a few projects going, don't you? Is that
for right now? With COVID, my main responsibility is to be a dad. So my kids were having to do homeschooling, and it was 3 hours every day. Making meals. The hardest job you ever do is being a parent. I'm telling you right now.
Yes.
But we're right now, we don't know what's going to happen in August. Are the kids going to go on? They're going on to high school. Is my other son going to be able to go to college? So right now, until we know, we just have to wait it out, Right. So we're just kind of like, we're lucky enough to have so many projects here at the house. We have a lot to keep us busy. And because I want to get things done quicker, I actually took on a job as an interior painter, which is kind of fun. So I'm able to get out and do jobs and make money to get stuff done. My motivation is to get my house done, So kind of fun. Yeah, but it's going to be fun. I think that as we get things done, we're going to give out little sneak previews, and I think people are going to really enjoy it. And I think it's going to, I actually talked to Alfonso from El Burrito Cowboy.
Right. Yeah.
And we shot 4 episodes of our TV show, the Ravenhurst Family Vault. And so I'm actually getting them sent to me, and we might even release those. And maybe we were talking about, and I want to talk to you guys about maybe we might produce it and still, there's a lot of things I'd like to do. So if we have to adjust to the Corbett thing, we'll do something. We'll do something. Yeah. But I'm like you, I think it's too soon to open up. I think we need to stay, do what we need to do, and just chill, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. That virus is just changing everything.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I don't think the world will never be the way it was.
No.
Ever.
Well, I hope not. But with everything bad that happens, there are always good things that happen.
Yes.
The one thing I'm so impressed with right now is that a lot of the animal shelters have run out of pets because people are adopting dogs.
Right.
I love it. And so they're actually learning so these animals are not in shelters anymore. They're actually in homes and stuff.
Right.
So that's a great thing, and then kids are getting a little more time with their parents, which is good for the parent, bad for the kid. But
right.
There are good things. You got to try to look at the positive. That's all you can do.
That's an interesting point. Like you said, everything, when there's bad things happen and stuff like that, there's always a good side to it.
Yeah.
And the emptying out of the pet shelters is something that I would never think about that, but that's a heck of an upside.
Yeah, it's great. We were going to PetSmart, before things got real bad, to get supplies, and you used to see puppies and kittens, and I said, "Oh my God, what happened to animals?" They go, "They're gone. They're adopted." And you have these places saying, "We don't have." I mean, it's fantastic. It's a great thing, And I'm hoping that these people, when we are able to go back to work, they continue that commitment to take care of those animals, which I think they will,
Right.
So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, Rita, I remember Rita from Trail Dust.
Yeah.
She says hello.
Hi, Rita.
Everybody remembers you from Trail Dust. Yes.
Yeah, awesome gal. Yeah.
Oh awesome. Yeah, you scared quite a few people there not only in Trail Dust but in Tucson, Arizona. Period.
Yeah.
She remembers you scaring Alay so much that she went into labor.
Yeah, we did. Yep. The lady she had to leave the haunt. She had to go to the hospital and had a baby. Yeah.
Right. Oh, can you also tell some of the other statistics that you have there about haunting? What happened to people because of your haunts? This is interesting, folks.
We had in 1 year's time, we had 163 people wet themselves, visibly wet themselves. We saw it. And we unfortunately had 59 people visibly defecate themselves. Wasn't that great? One childbirth. It's that was kind of something to be proud of. What's interesting was every time that I would go out of the town, on my night off, I go to movie. I'd have people point me out. You're the guy that made my boyfriend pee his pants. I'm like, okay, thank you.
That's something to be known for. You're the guy that made me pee in my pants.
Yeah. But we all had a lot of fun. It's funny because people, it's like a roller coaster. I mean, I'm terrified of heights, but it's like going on a road. You like that feeling and that adrenaline. So I think people are drawn to scares because it just gives them that weird feeling, and that it's intriguing to them. What's really funny is, and I'm sure you know this, in the 60s and 70s, when things were rough, they were doing TV shows like I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, Monster, weird stuff, because people needed a little weirdness, a little silliness, bizarreness, because it was a way of coping with things with the Vietnam War and stuff. And I truly believe even now, I mean, I'm not into this whole vampire craze of the silly glittery vampire things, but people really need distractions right now. And I think that's why when Kyle knows this, every one of us and everybody I know that we're the Ravenhurst believe that, haunt was not just a Halloween thing. It's something you can do all the time. Our saying was, nothing shows you care like a good scare. And I believe that. So I think people like to feel like they're in danger, or I think they like to be terrified. because, but at the same time, they ultimately have to trust you that you're going to make sure they don't get hurt.
Exactly.
And so when you have that, I mean, my belief about a haunt is this: everybody has something they're afraid of. Everybody has a fear of whatever, spiders or dolls or stuff, but everyone has the same fear, and that is fear of control. When you've given up control to your tour guide, or you go in a room where you can't see anything, you have no control, that's when you're terrified. Because you don't know, and you have no way of protecting yourself, and that terrifies. So the nonger you do, you're terrified. Yeah.
Right.
Why, out of all locations here in Tucson, why Trail Dust Town?
That's an interesting question. I grew up in and out of Tucson. I was in California. Tucson, to me, as a child, was my grandparents took me there. And I remember going there when I was 7 years old. When I moved back to Tucson, that's where me and my son Joshua used to do our birthdays and anniversaries and stuff. And it's just, to me, it was nostalgia. And to me, it was timeless. And there's so many people in Tucson who probably never even been there because they don't get out of their houses or whatever. But to me, it made the right fit, because Trail Dust Town to me had quality family entertainment.
Sure.
Something for everybody. And it's easy to have a haunt. I love the other haunted houses around Tucson. But I think that it's not like a family thing unless you're all weird like us. But I think I loved about Trail Dust Town is you had a restaurant and photos and painting gold. Everybody was entertained. You bring your guests from out of town, and they loved it because it gave that old West feel. It's like when I lived in California, we took people to Alcatraz or whatever. So I think Trail Dust Town is a perfect fit because it was in Tucson. Old Tucson was like out. Nobody wants to be unbothered. But Trail Dust Town was centrally located, and it was established and nostalgic. And I thought it was a perfect fit because I liked their family energy they had there. Yeah. And they took a chance on us because, we came in, you're thinking, oh my God, haunted house. And the whole time, and you can, Kyle, this, we always respected, we had respect, and we stayed with we were not trying to be, we stayed to the period, Western Victorian. We kind of went along with the theme of the place. Even the exterior of the place was, looked authentic, which is what I think added to the experience, Yeah.
Absolutely.
So one question that came in, and I mean, he wants me to mention it, but you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Sure.
Wade from Trail Dust wants to know if you do you miss Connor?
Yeah, I do actually. I actually miss everybody, and right now with the Corbett thing, I've had a lot of chance to think about everybody even more, and I've been going through pictures. In fact, wait a second. Say that. Say.
Hey.
Yeah. So, this is my family, and so everybody who was there had, it was a challenge for some people. Personality, adjustments for certain people to get along. I mean, you were experienced that as well, Kyle. But everybody, I think, at the time had brought something to create what we created, and sometimes people decide to leave when they but the time they were there, I appreciate what we wouldn't have been able to do what we've gotten to do without everybody who we had there. So yeah, I do miss Connor actually. Yeah.
Do you think the haunt, since you opened at Trail Dust Town, kind of changed the way of life a little bit?
I think so. I think that a lot of people, I think that it's how can I explain this? I think it gave people the ability to maybe do something different without having the whole stress of Halloween time or whatever. I think that it basically gave people that whole, we can go to a haunted house in March or February or whatever. I think it kind of took a lot of pressure off people. And I think that the fact that, we had people come in and say, I want to do a Yellow Train. You better not scare us. And then when we didn't, they were so grateful. We never disrespect anybody. And I think that a lot of people are opinionated about, stupid haunted houses, all they do is jump out at you with a chainsaw. We changed that, and people trust us. You saw it when we had people bring children who had challenges, that these kids left empowered, and we'd even stop tours if kids were having a little bit of a meltdown. That meant $1 million to the parents. We had a night one night, this lady was in, she was in a big group. She was in with her son. It was a big group, and her son had some issues, and he started having a little bit of a fit in the red room. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I need to leave. And everybody in the group, she didn't know them, saying, it's okay. They they made this kid feel like, and she had such a great experience, and she was literally crying at the end of the tour. She goes, you know, I've gone on plane rides with my son, and I've had people yell at me because my kid has all this energy, and you guys made him feel welcome. And that's what, you know, it was, to me, that's what I really liked a lot, when we had people. So I do feel we did a change for a lot of kids who never would have gone to a haunted house, that left empowered, you know. And when we did tours for deaf people, or remember that night we had a guy in the wheelchair that it was kind of laying down wheelchair. When you know, have these people say, you know, I'm 43 years old, I've been in a wheelchair most of my life, and I've never been able to go in a haunted house. This is my first time ever. And the guy's crying. How could that not affect you?
Right.
Honestly, seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely.
you know, it's so I love to scare people, and it's fun to see people pee their pants or whatever. But even when it's your staff, but it's also, but it's really rewarding when you have a kid who you make him feel like he learned the magic, you know, and you put him in a wheelchair. You know, we had a tour. Remember one night we had 3 wheelchairs in the same night in one tour. It was awesome, you know. So I think we do. I think we changed in a big way a lot of things, you know. Yeah.
I think you actually should. I don't know if it has happened, but you definitely have a different haunted house. I mean, there's no chainsaw, somebody chasing you around with blood and guts, no touching, no grabbing. It's all in your mind.
Imagination.
And you take the mind and flip it in 100 different universes.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. I never thought I could say I like a haunted house. I'm not a scary blood and guts kind of a guy, but you do it well. I mean, you really do. And it's different, folks. It's different.
We did it well.
Yes.
Well, you know, doing movies, you know that people go to a movie to escape. They want to have that moment where they're sitting in that chair and they get to be taken. And a good movie will challenge your imagination. A good play will do that. And that's the same thing with haunted house. And I think that what I'm proud of is that it's funny with all the social media we have nowadays. We found that the most terrifying thing you do to anybody is take away their cell phone for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
So doing that alone, and we used to tell them,
that's a good point.
So you can't call for help, you know. So that's
a good point.
Yeah, but it was, what people don't realize is that I wasn't the haunted house. It was all of us. The energy of our staff, you knew there was a passion they had, and they had their characters, or they would create themselves, and then they come up with new things, and they played, but they played well together. So it's to have a group of people who have a passion to do something, that aren't out to hurt anybody or do. They were such a respect for what we were doing, and that's what made us successful. Everybody there, we had times where people had challenges, you know, being able to work together, but for the people we had with like Kyle and certain people that worked there, and you know, that's what was the success, because you felt the belief and the passion of every detail of the haunt. That wasn't just the tour guide. It was down to the lady selling you a ticket, down to every person you came into. There were times we had a haunted, we were doing yellow tours where a kid would be having a little bit of a meltdown, and my son Rocky, who is one of the characters, he'd come out with his mask off and hold their hand and walk them through. My son Elias has autism, and so he kind of helped give me the ideas how we can do it and scare people. And you know, boys are all about cooties with girls. There were times he just would grab a young girl's hand and walk her through to help her, or other autistic kids. And this is something I didn't tell them to do. You know, Kyle had done it before, where, you know, we know, whoa. And so it's that passion and belief of what we did that made us successful. And it comes down to, yes, we scared people, but more importantly, everybody who went in there knew they were safe. That's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
They were safe.
I got that feeling also, although I was scared to death, but I knew I was safe. And that's a balance there. That's a balance. It really is.
But you trusted us.
Yes. Yes. I trusted you very much. And I would recommend that anybody go through your haunted house, man. It's an experience, man. You won't forget. You won't forget.
I wish we were still operating, you know, but and with COVID right now, we wouldn't be. That's the sad part too. So
that's true too.
You know, I mean, how can you?
Speaking of the COVIDs, you said something earlier that I would like to touch on and encourage everybody. You're talking about the upside and the good things that happen, and like the emptying of uh, uh, for the animals. Yeah,
shelters.
Yeah. Shelters. Why couldn't I think of that?
Right.
I would encourage everyone, not even only with the virus, but whenever something bad happens, there's always something good. And because we're locked up here and can't do this and can't do that, instead of concentrating on that, concentrate on what's good about it.
Right.
You just brought up something about the emptying of the shelters that is so amazing to me. Yeah. And that's simple, but I never thought about it. Yeah. And there are other things like that. There may be thousands of other things like that we could think about the COVIDs, the good part of what's happening because of the virus, rather than concentrating about the horrible things. I can't go here, I can't do this, I can't do that. Think about the good stuff, because you amaze me with that emptying of the shelters, because that's something I never thought about. I just encourage you, think about the other good stuff.
Yeah, it happened right away. You know, the thing is, the news always tells us about the COVID and stuff, but I think they really need to show all the good things are happening. People are working together, the things people are doing. People who can't adopt an animal are donating supplies to you know, the thing that was really funny when they talked about essential workers, we all think about the hospital people working in grocery stores. What about the people working at the zoos, taking care of the animals? What about the people taking care of the Desert Museum? What about the people working at the Humane Society and Animal Control? They're taking care of these babies. And so the things have changed now. If you want to go, you have to go online, you look at a dog, you want to adopt one, and you have to make an appointment, but they're still able to adopt animals. Absolutely. And but there are some people, my friends go, well, I really don't have space for an animal, but we want to help. Donate cat food, dog food, you know, whatever. You know, then I've seen, like, we see on the news the scary stuff, but there are so many awesome people going out there, you know, delivering food and to friends, and it's amazing. There's so many good things that people are doing, you know, and I think we need to focus on that, you know.
You're right.
You know, and people are still asking about you and the Haunted Trail Dust. Yeah. And you know, everybody misses it, you know, and you can tell everybody misses it, you know. So
we missed it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad because I know the security people there, and they'll send me photos because they go in the building and they'll show me the photos and it's the way we left it. And it's like, some part of me just wants to, I'll just go back, you know, go back.
Absolutely.
You know, and I, you know, I don't know. You got
have you worked at Nightfall or Slaughterhouse?
Yes, I actually did go to Slaughterhouse when they first opened, and I helped them build it. And so I was on the ground floor of the Slaughterhouse, and a lot of fun, great location, big, very big. And so it was, when we first started there, they didn't have the things they have now. It was just all raw in the beginning, but I met some really great people. I had an opportunity to work with some talented people there. And, you know, and my Ravenhurst was there. We were there every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with our hearses, and we walked around, and I did makeup there. I would do, you know, we would have to do 200 actors in 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. But so I did start the Slaughterhouse, and I actually worked at the Slaughterhouse a little bit when we first opened our haunt, 1 day a week to help them, because, you know, I was their lead makeup artist. Wow. So we always encourage people, and that's the funny thing. It really kind of bothers me about some states or cities. They'll like, well, you either have to like one haunted house or the other. And my attitude is they should go to all of them. Don't have to, it's Nightfall, it's Slaughterhouse. We all offer something different. And that's why we were priced so low. So there's no reason they couldn't go. So I think that people need to like know that you have to have the confidence of what you offer to know that everybody can still go to one and go to another, you know. And so that's why we always would encourage people to go to the Slaughterhouse and or other things in Tucson, because that's what you do, you know. Yeah.
Is there anything in the Slaughterhouse, not to bash them or anything, but does it make you different from them?
Yeah, there, you know, it's the Slaughterhouse. they are more of the modern day haunted houses you have. Their makeup is really good, but they do have a lot of jump scares, which is cool. They have a 33,000 square foot actual slaughterhouse, which is like kind of cool. So they are different. There's noise, there's music, there's smoke. And as they've been open, they've been adding more, which is amazing. They were doing the zombie hunt there. I was part of that. And that's like I said, I'm not, I would never try to do what they do because they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
But we were Victorian haunted house, and they're a slaughterhouse. So they're what they do is amazing, but we don't try to be like them. We don't, the characters I created when I was there, I had one character come with us, Pokey, of course, he's with us. He makes calls sometimes, but no, we do things a lot different than them. We don't try, we would never try, but then they couldn't do what we do either. Then they wouldn't even try, you know?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing people don't know about Slaughterhouse is there were actually two ghosts there, two guys that died there who worked there. And so working there, when we were building the place, they would turn off the generators and mess with us all the time. Yeah. And so people don't realize when they're in there, there are actually things going on that aren't actors. They are ghosts. Stevie is a ghost. Yeah.
And you know, by going to other haunted houses, slaughterhouse or wherever, and like you said, go to all of them, and as many as you can, and that gives you ideas for what you would do, not necessarily taking their ideas, but give you ideas to build on whatever. And going to, like, as an actor, I would never like to listen to an actor at an audition, but I like to see performances and go, oh my goodness, and hey, you know, and you learn from others, and it's that's how it's done.
Absolutely.
And you've done it well.
Well, we've done it well. We've done it well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's a we and not a I. Absolutely.
Yeah, our Ravenhurst family is more than just the actors. I mean,
exactly.
The people, Ravenhurst was even before the haunt, where, you know, and then like Kyle's dad, Ken.
Oh yeah.
Ken was, he came
quite
up
a guy.
The first year we were there, we were having a little party at the haunt, and this is when it was all in the beginning stages, and he made the mistake to say, if you ever need help, give me a call. I'm like, really? So we actually met on a day, and it was actually we share the same birthday, so we worked on my birthday and his birthday, and he's a year younger than me, but it was so nice because he does construction, I do construction, and it was great because his dad helped me create the finished product, and we would just go in there and just blow the staff away. They come up the next day, boom, there's a staircase there. Where'd that come from, you know? So, and the guy he did it all volunteer. He was there because he believed in what we were doing, and Kyle believed in what we were doing. And that, you know, Kyle would be out and Dad would be out, and they're telling people. That's how we got where we're at. The word of mouth from the passion of the people who worked with us is what happened with us, man. And like I said, it's what created us. So people don't understand that it's more than the host. It is every character, but it's the dads and the moms that help us. Yeah.
That's the we there.
That's right. Absolutely. Right. And they still are. And we still are Ravenhurst. We will continue to be, you know, when we do the thing down where we're at now, which we're not going to give location yet. We're hoping to get everybody together and just do a grand opening kind of thing, you know? Yeah.
All right. Well, Alex, you got any more questions for our
for Bill? I just want to say it is so good to see that face again. Looking forward to be scared again. There he had to scare me one more time, folks.
That's it.
My kind of guy, man. You actually have made me like haunted houses, man. The Ravenhurst really made me like haunted houses. Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, and I gotta say how I found out you were gone from Trail Test. I went to the magic shop, Emery's Magic at Trail Test.
Yeah.
And Emery was kind of bent out of shape there. He said, he kind of walked in, and Emery said, "Hey man, Bill is leaving." I said, "What do you mean he's leaving?" He said, No, he's leaving. He's leaving the haunted house. He's moving. I couldn't believe it, you know, and I think quite a few other people couldn't believe it. It kind of hit it kind of hit a lot of people in the chest there, you know?
It was the day after Christmas, the 26th of December. Now I need to explain to people why we had to do that.
Yes, please.
We had year's leases, and our lease was up December 31st at midnight. And so we needed to take things apart. So we had no choice. We had to close on the 26th, and we had to be out of there by the 31st at midnight. And we tried to stay open as long as we could. And with Trellis Town, I would always sign year's leases and stuff, but I was just, with the direction I wanted to go to and the opportunity I had come available, I had to look at, okay, I have an opportunity to own something versus renting something.
Something, yeah.
I love what we created, and it's still there. The rooms are still there. Everything's still there. But it was a creation of our imaginations, our passion, and it was made to look like a Victorian park. One of the most interesting compliments we ever got was someone said, "Oh my God, how lucky are you to find a building like this with all the original stuff in here?" And going, "We built that." But now I own a house that's built in 1884 that's really haunted, and it down to every hinge and every doorknob and all the skeleton keys, it's the real thing. So I wanted to have that, you know, and so I think that it's going to just be more openings for us, you know. And as much as I love, and I miss Trellis Town immensely, I miss my friends. It's just that, you know, I didn't have the confidence to sign another year's lease because I had this other thing possibly happening. And just so everybody knows this real quick, if we hadn't of been approved to get the new place, I had a contingency plan that I would basically go back to Trellis Town and sign a year's lease and pay a year's rent in advance. I would just put a second mortgage on my house. We closed Haunt, we actually sold our house and everything. So it was all contingent on the new place. And so if anything would have fallen behind, my intention was to pay your year's rent and to move and just do it again and just keep going. Because any good business will start to show a profit after 4.5 years. And we were at that point where it could have, but then things happen for a reason. Then we have the coronavirus. And so if that would have happened, I don't know if we could have survived, because you're still having to pay operations costs even though you're closed. But I think the worst thing I couldn't have survived is being there and not being able to be with my friends.
Right.
You know, and that would just tear me up because I couldn't be hanging out with my friends. We used to, when the Haunt wasn't opened, we used to hang out there. Everybody's birthday, we had cake there. We had parties there. We had, you know, we did so many things there, and that to me was home. And so it's, you know, I mean, maybe it's good that we had to close before all this happened. You know, I don't know, you know, but it wasn't a decision that was made lightly. It really wasn't, you know, but we're not giving up. We're just changing things up a little bit.
Yeah, well, see, now everything is pretty much authentic.
It is
where you are now. Yeah, authenticity is kind of amazing, you know. But
we're not going to give the location, but let me just say where we're at right now is noted to be one of the most haunted places in the United States.
Ow.
That's all I'm going to say.
You can't get more authentic than that.
Right. Yeah.
And it sounds promising too. That it looks promising.
Very promising.
And we got to get, Kyle's going to come up. We're going to have all the Ravens members going to be part of this development. You know, as soon as we can travel, we all agree we're staying safe.
Got to.
Once we're going to start having people come up. We got plenty of bedrooms, and we're going to start getting everybody back together. But right now, we're all doing our job to follow the rules. You know, and we hope to have you come up too.
Oh, hey, looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it.
Alex, you got any more questions for Bill as we shut down the show a little bit here?
I just want to say, Bill, extraordinarily thank you.
Thank you.
Good seeing you, man. Really. All right.
Thanks a lot, kiddo. I think I'm sure we'll see you mostly down the road, you know. And I'm hoping you'll be. I hope you'll be up and running at this October.
Yeah. With your help, I will.
Yep.
You don't know, you know.
Yep. I love it. Okay.
Cool. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you much. Thank you much, kiddo.
Alex, you want to hit up for Monday night's promo?
Monday night's promo, yeah. Oh, yes. We got a good friend of mine who went to high school together, and he's an artist now, Mr. Ronnie Phillips. He's does art shows all over the country, and actually he's been to Africa doing his art, selling his art, and he's quite an artist. Mr. Ronnie Phillips did a lot of photographer for a while for the movies, but now he's a painter. Ronnie Phillips, Monday.
7 p.m. right here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Oh, before we get off the air, I want to say we are official on Amazon. For all those who have Amazon Prime, if you're on Amazon, you just want to see it, you can now buy the episode packages. You can buy each episode individually. It's going to be insane. So you guys can actually go on Amazon and actually look for our show. We are on there. Not everything's on there quite yet. We're working on it. I think at least 5 episodes right now are working on from since we started from the show.
Yes.
And we're going to get all of them on there. You guys can actually go on there, help us out, make some cash for us if possible. You can also donate to the show because it takes a lot of money to put this thing on. You can go to PayPal, and you can type my name, Kyle Ramsden, and you can donate money or whatnot to the show because it takes a lot to put on. I just want to get that out there for you.
And I also want to say, everybody is on the show. You can go and buy your own episode for your family, friends. Buy some for your friends and everybody. But your episode, you need it.
Is physically on Amazon right now. Like you can go to Amazon.com and look us up, and it will be physically on. It's like $1 or something right now for episode, but it's quite a journey. Anyway,
absolutely.
See you guys Monday night. Thanks for tuning in, and good night, everybody.
Good night. Appreciate it.
Good night. Bye-bye.